Say that. You see, boy, some of the big programs in college football in the days they're having. UCLA having a big day. Washington having a big day. You folks out to Oregon, Stanford, you folks out in the Pac-12. We're going to obviously spend some time on your league as well, as it's not quite noon your time. Let's take a look at some reaction, though, from around the world to Mike Golic Jr., the newest member of the Notre Dame football team. Welcome to the family. You have 4 of the best years of your life coming up. Of course, Golic, the son of our Mike Golic, and LeBron James. He's been tweeting all day. I think he may be watching.
He doesn't sleep on college football.
What's up, Braun? Ohio State is bringing them in as well, all thanks to one person, Urban, Big Ten champs, Braxton for Heisman. And how about Landon Collins, the aforementioned Landon Collins, entering his sophomore season at Alabama. Man, I look back at my signing day and thank my mom for my decision and letting me go.
There you go, Dari.
There we go. All right, as we welcome you back into our continuing coverage of National Signing Day, Dari Noka, Rod Gilmore, Gene Chizik, Tom Luganbill, and you made a point in a nice casual meeting that was incredibly entertaining yesterday, Gene, about Twitter, Facebook, and its role suddenly in recruiting. How do you describe that role?
Completely changed the complexion of recruiting. No question in my mind. You know, Facebook and Twitter, you can look at a young man's Facebook and Twitter and never meet him and get a probably 70% accurate evaluation of who that guy is by looking at his Twitter and his Facebook. And again, this is a day and age in recruiting where technology is king. You have to be able to do that. You have to be able to Facebook kids. They love the tweets. I mean, look at the tweets you just read.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what kids thrive on, and you have to be technologically savvy, which I'm not, but you have to be. And but you really do have to be that. I think it's completely changed the way fan bases, recruits. I think it's affected everything in college football.
Yeah, two points about that. One, to your point, the situation out of California a couple years ago. Jeff Tedford lost one of his key assistants who went to Washington, and during a critical recruiting period last year, they had no way of reaching out to their recruits, and they ended up losing several recruits to other places because the rest of the staff was unable to handle Twitter and Facebook and the like. They've since corrected that, but that was a huge problem. The second point is that the other thing about social media is that it now opens up the entire possibility to the fan base. Fans can be involved. They can follow guys, they can encourage, and they can also discourage guys from coming to your school. So it's an entirely different environment now.
And just as we see at the collegiate level, at the high school level, that's where it starts. Can you handle all this notoriety? Can you handle the exposure? Can you handle that person on Twitter that's telling you you're an idiot if you go to this school or that school, this is where you need to come to? And can you handle having a level head when everybody's telling you how great you are and it's just being thrown at you from every direction? But from a coaching standpoint, you know, the coaches that understand and how to navigate the landscape in which kids communicate these days, because they're not going to listen to voicemail and call you back on the phone. You're going to catch them on text, you're going to catch them in email, Facebook, Twitter, all of those areas. You've got to be able to communicate through their spectrum. And if you can do that, you're going down the right path.
And don't forget, once they get to your university and they Twitter and they Facebook, that's public. So one wrong
Did you allow or not allow your players to have it?
We allowed it and we monitored it and we gave them one chance, and if they screwed it up, we were going to take it away from them.
You take it away from them individually, or would you just grab it from the whole team?
Individually, because we had so many guys that were very compliant with it. But you have some that aren't. And when they weren't, we gave them the warning. We said the next one, it's done. And we took them off.
Yeah, we've seen Jimbo Fisher take it away from everybody at Florida State as we bring back in. Well, take a look at this. Khalil Rogers, a USC signee. You know what this is? This is a twit pic. This is a Twitter picture. I mean, it is everywhere as we bring back in former Tennessee head coach Derek Dooley, who's been with us throughout the day. You know, Coach Chizik was talking about it. You can monitor these young men and learn a lot about them. You may not necessarily see the real young man when he's face-to-face with you in your office, but you can find that out on Twitter. How much did you use it?
Well, we certainly used it a lot, and you use it to gather information on a player. Use it to find out information on his other interests and the family, and there's so much you can find out now with the internet, but you also have to be very cautious of some of the information you get because, as we all know, a lot of it's not very accurate. And I think the most important information you can obtain is the face-to-face interaction. And I think that's probably the hardest thing today for a head coach, because we can only go to that player's house one time. In a whole year, we can only go to their place one time, and that's why it's so important to get them on campus as many times. And the people that have those players within that 3 to 4 hour base where they can just drive over a lot, it gives them a big advantage on finding out about the player.
Now, Derek, we'll check back in with you in just a little bit as we bring in another head coach, the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Mike Gundy, on this signing day. Coach, I want to talk about your class in a moment, but I find this discussion fascinating about the use of social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook when it comes to recruiting. How much have you found yourself using those networking sites?
Well, I don't go on them myself, but we have a number of people that work in our office that monitor Facebook and Twitter constantly. It's a great resource for information. As Coach said, the majority of it could be fabricated, but you still have to look into it. You have to do research. Unfortunately, because the limited availability we have in face-to-face contact with young men, it is a good resource of information to get some background on the student athletes and